and they even have foundations which go out to make sure that there's consensus building within every organization, so they're all on board, on track, with the same politically correct agendas.
Simply stunning, Alan Watt. Briefly, chemtrails, they seem to be intensifying.
They are intensifying. I noticed it in Ontario when they really started hitting us 10 years ago, exactly, in fact it was, and they were much lower at the time. It was all over the sky. The scary part is that most people didn't even see this. It was much, much lower. There were wide, thick trails, maybe 10 planes at a time, and the average person that watches TV and is dumbed down thought nothing of it. But this goes back to how we're always years behind what they tell us. It's only now they're saying we're thinking of seeding the air with chemicals to curb global warming. Well, they've been doing something for 10 years, and I don't think it's got anything to do with global warming. In fact, those who watch this notice that when they heavily spray an area, it heats up underneath because the tiny refractors in the metals act like mirrors.
No, they're trying to heat. They're trying to heat. And I think they knew the sun was about to cool off, and I'm not saying they're good, but they actually need to heat the earth. Then they're trying to restrict carbon. Alan Watt, let's finish up with chemtrails, then go right to calls. Michael, Joe, Bill, Mark, Michelle, Michael, Danny, and others. Stay with us. We'll be right back. I don't know how anybody out there watching couldn't visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com 5-6 times a day and spread the word. I mean, the stories here. Obama's energy czar, socialist agent for a new world order. Air Force creates counter blog response to plan and quell dissent inside the United States, openly targeting propaganda against the American people. The Marines announced publicly yesterday, yes, we're going to fight the American people. I didn't even cover that article where they're announcing they're going to engage in combat in America, not even against Al-Qaeda, which they claimed, the American people. It is just unbelievable, the type of things. And things are going so fast now, Alan, you and I can hardly even respond to all of it. And everything we said is happening because we were just reading the globalist-owned documents before they were widely disseminated.
Yes, that's the whole trick of it. The public have been, unfortunately, well trained with scientific indoctrination. The television is not something to be entertained with. It's the greatest tool the elite have ever had. You can't listen to truth and think about the truth and dissect it for yourself and switch on the TV and get lost for an hour on some other topic, because whatever you're learning is going to be eradicated from your mind. It is a scientific tool. It's been put to incredible effect. But they're also doing, they're going into the ELF warfare techniques now that Brzezinski talked about in his book Between Two Ages. He mentioned the technotronic era in that book, and the technotronic era was a technique that would be used on the general population. He meant worldwide, where they'd get their opinions and ideas coming to them, but they'd have no idea where it was coming from. And he was talking about really ELF technology, and they are putting up antennas in some of the big cities. I've got photographs here, some of them in the process of being built, in fact, and they have their own transponders down below. And these things are unlike the ones they use for cell phones, and I think this is all part of the network to control the minds of the public. Now, this stuff is well proven. It works very well. It can put you into a state of apathy or aggression or depression. Or aggression very easily.
By the way, a mainstream publication 2 weeks ago came out, and it's been in the Baltimore Sun as well, and said DARPA has these ultrasound alone can calm you or make you angry, and they said we're going to start doing this for the public.
That's right.
We're just going to put towers up, and but it's to fight Al-Qaeda, Alan.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they're actually going ahead and building them and putting them up in preparedness for the times ahead, which will not be present.
Alan, what are we going to do when a cop shoots an unarmed man in the back on the ground? We've got to turn these on and calm everybody down, Alan.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's the whole. You see, again, it goes back to this whole idea that we're just animals and there's nothing spiritual about you. You have no soul, no nothing. You're just a contained brain and they call it endless loops inside your own brain. That's what they teach in university.
And they also give us doublethink. They go, well, all these people die when they get tasered, but that's just a syndrome. People just happen to die at the same time they're tasered. It's not the taser.
Yes.
Now they might say... Now they might
are allergic to it, you see.
Yeah. Well, now when we shoot you, maybe it's a syndrome. Maybe the bullet didn't do it.
That's it. That's right. And so they can rationalize, and they are. They're using every kind of rationalization, almost mockingly today, to justify what they can do, because they're given all power. They know they have all power to do as they wish. They've raised a generation that's willing to use all of this technology and weaponry on the public. They've been brought up playing the video games. There's no morality in a video game. It's get to the other side and kill it.
And they condition us with all the violence they constantly show on TV to accept it. And this segment's almost over. I want to come back and go directly to calls. You got cut off on the last segment with the chemtrail comments. Go ahead.
Yes, the chemtrails will tell you. It probably has many different functions, I'm sure. It definitely makes people apathetic and tired. That's been well noted. And I've been watching this for years and talking to hundreds of people over the years on it, where they're heavily sprayed. And as you say, the fallout, the physical fallouts, even in the bronchial tubes and the long-lasting infections, etc., are well noted. Every pharmacist in the country knows what his best-selling products are. Go in and ask the pharmacist, and he'll tell you it's the bronchodilators and expectorants and so on, and antibiotics that are really being pushed for the last 10 years. To do with this spraying. He might not mention the spraying, he might not know himself, but he knows what he sells off the shelves. And so the ones at the top who advocated this, they treat us like children. They call us children. You cannot tell the children what we're doing to them. It's for their own benefit, poor souls, but we don't want to scare them. They know, probably right down to the smallest iota, how many people will die off with this, with respiratory problems.
And then we call it allergies. People who never had them suddenly can't breathe or sick all the time. Suddenly, I saw a report last year that women's lung cancer is up 7 times what it was a decade ago. And they go, that's all right. We'll have a little cancer group for you and make you feel like you're a little movie star. Now you're going to die and go in a coffin. Bye-bye. We love you. We'll be right back.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network. The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
CutIntoTheMatrix.com is his website. Be sure and check out the audios, the materials, the videos, things that are available there, and be sure and support Alan Watt and the work he's doing. Be sure and support our work as well, and all the documentary films that I have made. I've made 20 of them and produced another. Actually produced 2, Fabled Enemies and Loose Change Final Cut. Fabled Enemies is the latest 9/11 film, and we learn more as time goes on. This is an open and shut case about how the establishment carried out the attacks. The Money Masters, how the bankers got total control, 3.5-hour film, 1995. Really the Rosetta Stone of understanding the overall in-game agenda. If I had to say see one film to understand their total agenda and their program, it's it. This film, In-Game Blueprint for Global Enslavement. The 9/11 Chronicles, Truth Rising. This is the latest film I made, and I just can't even describe the film. You've got to see it. I mean, it's cinema verite. It's fast-paced. 30, 40 world leaders confronted. Willie Nelson interviewed. Martin Sheen interviewed. George Carlin interviewed. I mean, the list just goes on and on to try to describe everything that is in this film. Bill Clinton confronted. David Rockefeller confronted. John McCain, Barack Obama, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Just an incredible film. The 9/11 Chronicles. Folks need to have this documentary. Again, available at Infowars.com, and Alan's stuff's all available at CuttingToTheMatrix.com. I want to go to your calls now for those that have been patiently holding for the balance of this Friday edition and try to move quickly through them. I appreciate everybody being patient. Let's talk to Michael in Chicago. You're on the air with Alan Watt. Michelle, excuse me, I read that wrong. Michelle in Chicago. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
Good.
I'm a first-time caller. I've probably woke up maybe about 2 years ago, started watching the 9/11 films, and I was a big watcher of TV before, and now that I'm seeing it after waking up to everything that's going on, it's so obvious, the brainwashing that these people are broadcasting to everybody, and it's just so disheartening to watch it happen and listen to them mock truthers as conspiracy theorists and just dismiss everything that they're saying and make it into a big joke. And it's such a ridiculous thing that the media is so ridiculous that people just don't pay attention to it. And they're apathetic, and they just don't care.
But that's what they mean at a certain level of programming. That's why they came out and said that the number 2 in Al Qaeda had been killed 14 separate times and never.
Oh my God! They don't pay attention.